Hi all, Rebecca Michael here, doing another video today. I'm on a roll. I'm in my backyard, beautiful day. Maybe you can hear the waterfall behind me. If you hear any dogs barking, that's my dogs. Anyway, so today's video is I'd like to reference the last video, which I'm going to tag at the end of this one, on aging narcs. But this one is how narcs face death. And so how do narcs face death? Well, like anything else, they have artfully avoided any genuine spiritual work, the same way they have done in all other aspects of their life, such as relationships and other growth projects that require sustained effort and lead to having a strong core identity, and so they don't have one. They're only in the here and now, and their latest or next schemes to use and abuse, or their immediate appetites and concerns. Don't mind me, I'm reading off notes here. It's kind of windy. So they're only in the here and now, and they're also all about power and control. They don't trust anything higher, any higher power or any higher morality or principles. They don't go by that. They go by their appetites and their next schemes. So they're all about power and control. Surrender's not in the program, so you can just imagine how they're going to be handling 100% surrender and death. And so they do not handle either the steady decline of aging or death well. Either or. So in the end, they're unprepared for it. Any ideas they have of God are only self-referential, the same way that they see others. Either useful or unuseful narc supply, fuel, or tools to dominate and control, which is absurd. Just even looking in creation, it's absurd. But they don't think deeply about anything, especially not death or anything else, really. They're shallow and fleeting. Anyway, or they'll try to dominate and control, but yeah, no, it's not happening. So they tend to imagine themselves as their own gods or their own version of God. They don't look into it. And it's all self-serving. How absurd is that? But in death, they're losing 100% power and control, and this is their greatest horror. They're very fearful under the fake bravado, especially when they're losing all power and control, and they've done no work to prepare for it, or they may have a few platitudes they've picked up or hearsay from somewhere, but they don't look into it. So they're utterly unprepared for it in old age. At the same time, their history of usury, abuse, and thus estranged important targets in their life, and all their life fails, all comes down on them at once. And at a time, they are declining and losing all control. And at a time, they're most in need of support as well. It's scary enough for all of us, but, you know, and it may seem like a morbid topic, but the sooner someone faces and processes that throughout their life, the easier that transition's going to be. Well, they don't do that. Very superficially, if at all. And many narcopaths do not make it to old age due to their self and other self-destructive traits and self-indulgent lifestyles, and bad judgment, because they don't think anything through deeply. They don't learn from their mistakes. They just keep going around that same cycle of the only thing they change are targets, tactics, schemes, locales, etc. They're very parasitic because they don't have a strong core identity developing. It's continually aborted, as I've referred in other videos. So this is a horrendous state to be in, with all of that damage unaddressed to others, no realistic concept of God in and of, obviously if there is a God, he's got his definitely own identity, and declining, and with no spiritual preparation of any depth or worth. So just continuing the power and control schemes right to the end. So either way, whether they don't make it to old age or they do, narcopaths are not prepared for the end and often die alone, full of toxic, unresolved shame and regrets. And often those regrets are self-serving, so it's not even regrets about the right things, or, you know, self-serving, right? Oh, I wish I could have manipulated that one better, or I mean, if you were to put the words to it. So once again, this is self-serving because any second, third, 10th chances given them throughout their lives, they only revert back to old abuse cycles and patterns, especially without treatment or insight. So they don't have any insight. They don't self-reflect. And they need external validation because they can't self-validate with their failing track record of failed relationships, and it's a nightmare. So you can imagine in old age and death, they're not prepared for anything. Without that insight or treatment, they don't have a hope at all of change towards evolving and growth. And without doing the work of individuation, there is no true, strong identity growing there, only the false self, which, of course, is false, and so it's not going to be of any help to them because they're facing a hard reality here that they're not in control of. And never mind facing the facts of mortality, their own mortality. Even as other people in their lives are dying, they're not facing anything. They run and hide. That's pretty much their MO, you know? Or divert themselves with schemes. So because they have instead spent their lives using and abusing, they have no legacy to pass on other than disgrace and what not to do. So, I forget what they call that. A bad lesson, I guess. Others in their lives are often relieved. They're gone when they pass on because they become a burden. Just with all of the external need, they don't have the developed, once again, core identity they need to be able to do the self-validate. They've got a record full of fails and abuses. This is all, they're all having to face all this all at once. And some people are even happy about their richly deserved demise. So you can imagine how abused this person's, these people, whatever, have been. Think of Hitler, people like that, I think there was a lot of cheering going on around the world. So it's generally a terrible end for them. They refuse to change and grow. 99% of them don't, from the research. And so they continue to choose this end despite many signs, warnings, and stop signs throughout their lives to turn around and go the other way. They're going the wrong way. And just as they've continually abused their many chances and blessings in life, and they would only continue to do so if they were revived back to life for long. So, you know, time's up eventually. And that's your movie. That's your movie. So, only 1% from the DV or other narc abuse, etc. research seem to change and grow up, but not without therapy, as these criminal thinking patterns and ways are by mid-age firmly entrenched throughout all aspects of their lives and relationships. And I've discussed some of these criminal traits and thinking patterns throughout other YouTube videos I've done from the research. So you might want to look at that, my other videos. But no, it does not end well for these recalcitrant, stubborn, chronic abusers who insist on going, keep on going. They keep on going in their abusive criminal ways. But remember this, they free will chose this throughout their lives, and that is their freedom to do so. I mean, we really wouldn't have it any other way, otherwise we're just slaves, aren't we? No, we have a choice throughout life. We have many, many choices and many, many chances to turn around. But then the consequences also come with it. And that's all I have to say for now, Phoenix. But yes, they do. They definitely get their karma. Take care.